Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Smile Code. I'm your host, Dr. Esi Quaidoo. Today, I want to talk about something deeply personal, deeply human, and incredibly relevant in the modern world. Not just weight loss, not just dieting, but our relationship with the body itself. Today's episode is From Dieting to Alignment, a Smile Code approach to vitality. Because perhaps the greatest shift we can make is this: to stop fighting the body and start listening to it. For decades, many of us have been taught to wage war against ourselves, count calories, punish the body, shrink ourselves, ignore our exhaustion, override our intuition, silence our hunger, push harder, sleep less, do more. And if our bodies resisted, we blamed ourselves. But what if the body is not broken? What if the body is actually trying to protect us? What if belly fat, fatigue, cravings, burnout, emotional eating, inflammation, are not betrayals? What if they are messages? Messages asking us to come back into alignment. We are living in one of the most overstimulated periods in human history. Notifications, noise, comparison, artificial light, ultra-processed foods, stress, financial pressure, emotional overload, constant urgency, artificial intelligence. And yet many people are wondering, why can't I lose the weight? Why am I always tired? Why does my body feel inflamed? Why do I feel disconnected from myself? Because the body keeps score. The body remembers what the mind tries to suppress. And sometimes what we call a weight problem is actually a nervous system problem, or a sleep problem, or a stress problem, or a loneliness problem, or a meaning problem. We are currently witnessing the explosive rise of GLP-1 weight loss medications that are helping many people lose weight rapidly, sometimes for the first time in years. And for some individuals, especially those struggling with obesity, diabetes, or severe metabolic dysfunction, these medications may truly be helpful, even life-changing. But perhaps the deeper question is this: is weight loss alone the same as vitality? Because losing pounds does not automatically heal chronic stress, emotional exhaustion, disconnection, poor sleep, loss of muscle, or the deeper hunger for meaning, peace, and alignment. We have entered an era where appetite can increasingly be medically suppressed. But appetite is not the only thing human beings struggle with. Sometimes people are not hungry for food alone. Sometimes they are hungry for comfort, rest, joy, connection, purpose, peace. And no medication alone can fully nourish those deeper needs. Traditional dieting often comes directly or indirectly from rejection and deep-seated beliefs like, I'm not enough, I need to fix myself, I need to become worthy. But alignment asks a different question, not, how do I punish my body into submission, but, how do I create the conditions where my body naturally wants to thrive? That is a completely different energy. Alignment says, nourish the body, strengthen the body, regulate the nervous system, improve sleep, move with joy, reduce inflammation, reconnect to purpose, and cultivate peace. A body in alignment naturally moves toward vitality. Now let's talk about something many people struggle with, myself included, and that is the waistline. especially as we age, especially for women and men after 40, 50, and 60. The modern culture tells us, fight it harder. But the waistline is often feedback. It may be saying, you're chronically stressed, your cortisol is elevated, your sleep is poor, your muscles are declining, your blood sugar is unstable, you're emotionally exhausted, you're disconnected from joy, you've been surviving for too long. The body whispers before it screams, and one of the most loving things we can do is learn its language. One of the greatest hidden drivers of weight gain today is chronic stress. When the nervous system does not feel safe, the body holds on. It conserves energy. It stores fat, especially around the abdomen. This is not weakness. This is biology. A peaceful nervous system is one of the greatest fat-burning environments on Earth. Think about that. Peace is metabolic medicine. Stillness is medicine. Sleep is medicine. Laughter is medicine. Connection is medicine. Purpose is medicine. Love is medicine. And this is where the SMILE code becomes so powerful. The SMILE code teaches, love God, love yourself, love your neighbor. But this is not just spiritual philosophy. It is biological wisdom. Love God. Ground yourself in something higher than fear, comparison, and scarcity. Through prayer, meditation, stillness, faith, presence. These calm the nervous system. Love yourself. Not vanity, not indulgence, but genuine self-respect. Feeding yourself nourishing foods, sleeping adequately, moving your body, setting boundaries, honoring your emotional health. That is self-love in action. Love your neighbor. Human beings are not designed for isolation. Connection regulates the nervous system. Community heals. Kindness heals. Meaningful relationships heal. Even laughter with people you love changes your biochemistry. You may be wondering why extreme dieting fails. Most diets fail because they are unsustainable. They rely on force. But the body eventually rebels against force, especially when sleep is poor, stress is high, muscle mass is low, and emotional wounds remain unaddressed. You cannot sustainably hate yourself into health. And perhaps one of the greatest lies modern culture sold us is that thinner automatically means healthier or happier. Real vitality is deeper. It is energy, clarity, strength, peace, resilience, confidence, radiance, and purpose. So here is the new paradigm. What if, instead of obsessing over the scale, we focused on metabolic flexibility, emotional regulation, strength, mobility, joy, sleep, hydration, spiritual grounding, and meaningful living? What if the goal wasn't merely to become smaller, but to become more alive? That changes everything. Let's talk briefly about practical alignment principles. So what does alignment actually look like in real life? Sometimes it's very simple. Walking after dinner, strength training a few times a week, eating more protein and less sugar, sleeping earlier, drinking more water, breathing deeply, laughing more, spending time in nature, reducing overstimulation, releasing toxic shame, reconnecting to purpose. Small daily shifts, compounded over time. You know, I've come to believe that many people are not truly hungry for food. They are hungry for peace, meaning, rest, connection, inspiration, and authenticity. And sometimes we attempt to fill spiritual and emotional emptiness with stimulation, consumption, or constant activity. But alignment asks us to slow down long enough to hear ourselves again, to remember ourselves again, to return home to ourselves again. In closing, I'd like to say that perhaps true health is not forcing the body into submission, but creating the conditions where it naturally wants to thrive. Perhaps vitality is not punishment, but harmony. Perhaps the body is not the enemy, but a wise messenger guiding us back toward balance. And perhaps the journey from dieting to alignment is really the journey back to ourselves. Thank you for joining me on the Smile Code. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who may need encouragement, healing, or a new perspective on wellness and vitality. Until next time, love God, love yourself, love your neighbor, and don't forget to keep smiling.